Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Mitch Elkin, and I'm the president of the American Heart Association. And we wanted to give you an update on a session today called Racing to Greater Life Expectancy by 2030. Is racism a tangible target to achieve cerebrovascular health equity? And to discuss today's session, I'm joined by Dr. Bruce Obiagale, who organized the session and served as a moderator and is a former chair of the ISC, Dr. Louise McCulloch, the chair of this year's International Stroke Conference, Dr. Jide Williams, close colleague here in New York and participant in the session today. And I think what I'll do, Bruce, is turn it over to you to tell us a little bit about the session today.
Absolutely, Mitch. Thank you so much. And so this session really brings together the target goal, the 2030 goal that the AHA has, and also a most recent presidential statement advisory on racism, of which Mitch and Jide were part of. And so it was a wonderful session, biased as the moderator and organizer for saying that. But I think it really encapsulated a lot of the key issues. So Jide started off by talking about the potential theoretical and scientific underpinnings of structural racism. He broke it down into the different types of racism and then spoke about bias and the potential biological basis for racism and its effects on cerebrovascular health. We then had Benga Ogedegbe talk about the issue of diversification of the workforce. He spoke specifically about what the problem is, why diversity is beneficial, and how to go about fostering an atmosphere of inclusion excellence, which really is defined as having policies and practices that prioritize the utility of resources that bridge equity. And then we had a wonderful panel discussion. Many people after the session texted me to say that there wasn't enough time, but we had a robust discussion about clinical, the educational, the policy, the research, and even the industry perspectives when it comes to addressing this issue of structural racism. I'll now hand it over to Jide to give us the speaker's perspective on how it went.
Thank you so much, Bruce. And so the question we were really trying to address was, is racism a tangible target to achieve cerebrovascular health equity? And I think we all came out of that saying yes. I think it was a resounding yes. It is a tangible target, but we need to address structural racism, which is responsible for the differing social determinants of health, which in turn are the major drivers of these cerebrovascular disparities. We talked about the theoretical and scientific underpinnings, but we also, and I really enjoyed this part, was the significant role of the healthcare workforce in fostering equity, especially increasing diversity at the leadership levels, especially increasing the underrepresented minority representation throughout the healthcare workforce, establishing more mentoring structures that address some of the social isolation that a lot of underrepresented minority physicians experience, improving the pipeline programs into medicine from these underrepresented minorities. And they also, all these things are not just cosmetic, they really have an effect. And some of those effects really do translate into better outcomes, in addition to better patient satisfaction and also better adherence to treatment and follow-up. But I think the underpinning message of the entire session for me was this mantra that I believe we need to really take hold of and promote as widely as possible, and that is that diversity is not the problem. Diversity is the solution.
Very well said, Dr. Williams. Thank you very much. And as mentioned, probably not quite enough time, and especially time to get to the questions. So this is going to be an ongoing focus of the International Stroke Meeting, and we'll be looking forward to increasing the programming in this area for 2022 when we meet back, hopefully in person, in New Orleans. And I will have to say that the American Heart has really put their money where their mouth is. So there's new diversity supplements that will be offered to anyone with an AHA grant for fellowship training. So they recognize that diversity is the solution. And we all know that diverse teams produce better results. So hopefully we can learn from this and continue to grow in this area.
I might just add that the session today on structural racism is really part of a broader program that the Heart Association has had this year focused on health equity issues. In fact, our most recent impact goal, our goals for the year 2024, so over the next 3 years, are to serve as champions for health equity. So we would anticipate that by 3 years from now, we'll advance cardiovascular health for all, including identifying and removing barriers to healthcare access and quality. And these are not just words. There's going to be several large investments in research, in advocacy, in support of communities, and also in specific initiatives around risk factors like hypertension and particularly stroke. So we look forward to working with the entire stroke community to implement these programs and to achieve health equity over the next few years.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mitch.